All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing to tune in today. My name is Francine, and this is my channel, The Hermetic Herald. I am here today for another channeled message. So for those of you that are new to my channel, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for deciding to tune into this specific message that crossed your path. Whatever it was that drew you in, I hope that you find the message that was intended for all of you. And I also want to say thank you so much to the people that have been with me and also have been subscribed to me. Thank you guys so much for being here and for being so present on this channel, because I feel like there's so much love, so much support coming in for me for this channel. So I wanted to see if I can touch base with two very well-known actors in India. I have two people in particular by the name of Asim Riaz and Himanshi Khurana. So I want to make sure that I do pronounce their names appropriately. So at times I may have to look back down at my phonetic spelling just to make sure that I'm respecting their names and that I also am respecting what I get and the insight that comes through. So thank you so much for the person that had requested this reading. I really do appreciate you opening up expanding, actually, I would say, my readings, because I typically do artists and actors and people from the US, but this is going to be my first international reading. So I'm very excited. I'm very also unaware of any information that would affect the reading. So I believe you're going to be getting just what I'm hearing intuitively, and there won't be any bias because I'm unable to attach anything to both individuals. So I want to see what their relationship and dynamic is. So we're going to touch base with number one. What is the aura surrounding their current relationship? How do they feel about each other? What are the areas that may need more attention? 3, what are the areas for growth together? 4, what should they pay closer attention to? And 5, what is the most likely outcome? And I would like to touch base also on whatever comes through, if it's for their healing, for understanding the dynamic between the two. I will be touching base with a number of different cards. What's interesting is that before I begin, I heard the number 6. And when I looked at my deck here, the 6th card in that deck was number 30, adjudication. So there's something involving, what's interesting is it's involving the legal system here. So Spirit wants to really, there's like an energy of a contract between these two that they're trying to tell me about. And so I'm going to just touch base with that, because at the bottom of the deck we had thoughts. We had privileged lady as well as change. So there's something about the thoughts towards specifically Himanshi coming to the forefront here. There's something that's going to be changing in regards to the relationship. That could be that it's transforming into something new, or they're going through some cycle together and they want us to address it, and it relates to a contract. This could be a contract with their relationship as far as their karma, or this could be a contract physically with regards to the legal system. I want to actually read this. Let's see if we can read it. You know what? Spirit wants me to just start, and I feel this card strongly. Okay, we have prostitute. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. And I just want to highlight that the word prostitute is not specifically anyone in this reading. What it's saying is that the two people in this reading are very good at not surviving, living just to survive. They're focusing on living in luxury, living with their blessings, living with the money that they have without trading their soul for that money. Does that make sense? They're focusing on surviving without negotiating the power of their spirit. So they're letting themselves focus in on remaining confident and trusting in who they are as people without allowing themselves to settle for money or for whatever things people try to throw their way. This can be really difficult for someone that's in the public eye, because sometimes you get offers that people want you to do and you're not willing to do them because they're not in your integrity. They're not focused on your integrity. There's something about integrity here. There's something also about always having trust in themselves. I'm hearing trust in themselves and trusting that they'll get the right contracts, the right deals, that they don't have to settle for anything. That's something that's really important for these two for some reason. Okay, there's a lot of energy coming through, so let me just start with the Rider-Waite Tarot. Let's see what messages are here for Asim, Riaz, and Himanshi Khurana here. Spirit guides, angels, ancestors, please help me in understanding the dynamic between these two individuals. What is the energy and the aura surrounding them? And what can they learn from their experience together? What does the fans and the people out there, what are they meant to know about this relationship and understand? Please clarify any information out there that is not correct, any information that is needing to be addressed in this reading. Okay. So spirit guides, angels, ancestors, what is the current aura surrounding Asim and Himanshi? What is the current aura surrounding Asim and Himanshi? Wow. Let me just show you how it looks right here. I'm just going to turn that. That card just came right out. All right, so we have the Seven of Swords. Okay. So the Seven of Swords is the current aura surrounding the relationship. I was not expecting that. So the Seven of Swords is typically the energy of something either secretive or something that is being hidden from us. What's interesting is that this person here is holding up their swords and they're walking away from a battlefield. Actually, they're tiptoeing away from some form of a group of people in the background. So I feel as though Spirit's trying to highlight that they're either being very secretive with their energies right now, or that there are secrets between them that we're going to address. Okay. Wow, that's a strong energy to start off the reading. Bottom of the deck here is the High Priestess, the Seven of Wands, and the Devil. Interesting. There's something intuitive about these two people. What I'm getting really strongly is that they're both very direct. I feel as though they have an intuitive sense about this relationship and the dynamic of the relationship, and they're very fervent. I'm feeling like I'm hearing stubborn. What's interesting is I'm feeling the energy of someone who's stubborn and is standing up and trying to protect something here, and we're going to see what that is. But the Devil is here. Typically that's about some kind of bondage, trying to restrict. They're trying to present or to prevent something from happening that is going to help, or that is going to affect them and put them in bondage in some way. I am having the hardest time speaking with this energy. Why am I having such a hard time? I feel as though with people that are actors typically and such, they are very eloquent. So why is this coming out this way? Let's see. So we'll see what this is all about here, with the aura being the Seven of Swords already. What is the area that needs more attention, spirit guides, angels, ancestors? What is the area that needs more attention? Okay, we have one that just came through. We have the King of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So the area that needs more attention already is an energy of the King of Wands. When the King of Wands comes up upright, that's usually a person that is very strong-willed, a very passionate energy, someone who is very determined, someone who has done a lot of work to get where they are. So it's a very entrepreneurial, very independent, very powerful energy, very driven. When it's in the reverse, that means that the person is a little too driven to the extent to where they're not balanced. They're a little too driven, too focused on their initiatives, on their work, on their career path, but there's an energy of being a little too tyrannical. I'm getting the word tyrannical. So they need to focus on not being controlling in the relationship. I feel as though they're both very powerful energies. I feel like they need to make sure that they're tempering their energy and that they're not trying to control one another. That is very strong here. Bottom of the deck is the Star, the Queen of Pentacles, and this is the Hanged Man. I feel really strongly that, especially with Himanshi, I'm feeling like she's a very independent energy. She is very nurturing, is what I'm getting, but there's a need for her to heal some aspect of her motherly energy or nurturing energy. So there's something about her feminine energy there needs to be more of her feminine energy involved in this dynamic to avoid the King of Wands in reverse. She needs to see her feminine energy and to see her gifts, to see who she is, more of her feminine energy rather than the masculine, and she needs to see in a different way. I feel like that is part of their journey together, is healing the feminine energy within both of them. Okay, because I see this as a very destabilized energy, or someone who is not operating in their power. They're being a little too extreme with their energies. This can also denote sex. This can also denote a sense of there being like a power struggle in sex between the two of them, and that's being addressed here. What are areas for growth together? I feel this card. Wow, the Lovers, guys. Okay, everyone, I should say the Lovers is here. That is the area for growth together. They need to continue to focus in on love, and I'm feeling this card strongly. Strength, yeah. So strength comes in whenever, wow, feeling this one. Is there any more, Spirit? It's this one. All right, so they're clarifying strength or the Lovers. So with the Lovers, that's about recognizing two people in a relationship, in a romantic partnership, and recognizing the love that has brought them together. There's also the energy of recognizing the dynamic between two people. You can also think of Adam and Eve in this instance with the Lovers card. You can see the serpent here next to Eve, and it's the importance of recognizing the lessons in love, the lessons and challenges that come with being in love and in a relationship. There are a lot of things that happen in regards to our healing process in love, and both Asim and Himanshi are going through a lot of lessons, and I'm also feeling like they're healing a number of things in this relationship and in this dynamic. So what they need, the area of growth together, is just allowing themselves to continue to grow. It's like continuing to grow together rather than bridging, rather than separating. They need to continue to grow together and move towards each other rather than allowing anything to drift them apart. I'm seeing that mountain there. That's important. Okay, so they need to focus in on the love and less on the power. More love, less power between each other, of trying to control each other. To clarify the Lovers, we had the Strength card. This is about determination. This is about self-control. From what I see when I look at the tarot for strength, this is Leo energy. This is about having the strength and determination to see things through, to be consistent, because Leo is a fixed sign. It's also about settling past the illusions of looking at all of these options that you have before you, and of deciding to remain with one another despite all of the other options out there. We also have the Four of Swords, which is the energy of someone who is out of rest, and they're beginning to get up, they're beginning to move and operate. Four of Swords is usually about taking time away and resting and recovering. So when I see it in reverse, it can also mean that the rest has been, you've taken too long in making a decision, or that there is a need for you to get up and move. So they're needing to move forward towards making a decision, and also sticking to the commitment they made to each other. Now, I don't know why the Seven of Swords yet is at the middle of this relationship. This could be that someone's hiding something. So we're gonna find out what that Seven of Swords means here. Bottom of the deck here is the Page of Cups, the Sun, and the Six of Pentacles. Give and receive. There's a need for there to be balance and reciprocity in this relationship. There's a need for them to continue to grow in showing each other love and being equal, on equal footing, is what I'm feeling very strongly. Page of Cups is about inner child healing. Sun is about joy. And the Six of Pentacles is about balance, give and take. They need to both make sure that they're happy. I feel that strongly. They need to check in and make sure that they actually are very happy continuously. What is something they need to pay closer attention to, Spirit? What should they pay closer attention to? What should Asim and Himanshi pay closer attention to? We have one card here, Nine of Pentacles. We also have another card coming through, the Four of Pentacles. Anything else, Spirit? I'm feeling this card as well. Wow, there's so many. Okay, there's so many things their guides want to say. Okay, let's start off with the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles is usually the energy of independence. It's about standing amongst your coins, the things that you have brought in, and being very proud of where you have come thus far. It's an energy of independence, of focusing on your money, on your financial success, and that is what they need to pay closer attention to, their financial success. There needs to also be a consideration in regards to money. I'm feeling like they need to actually make a decision to take care of their money and their finances, and to be very decisive, because I feel as though they sometimes get split between how they should use their money and how they should, I'm hearing store up their money. I don't know why I'm hearing store up offenses as well. They need to be very careful with holding on or hoarding their wealth. Hoarding anything from each other, whether that be wealth or information. There needs to be openness, and they need to open their arms and let each other, I'm hearing heal each other or heal others. There's something about them dealing with the Four of Pentacles energy in their past, of holding on to money, of loss, of feeling like they're going to, I'm hearing so many things, amount to nothing if they lose their money. That money is what really drives them, or money is what's really needed in the relationship. Money is what sets them free in some way. I'm feeling a sense of there being something generational here with regards to money coming through. I feel like they feel a connection to their money, and they're afraid of letting it go. And that's something that you have to really heal. They need to heal the idea of having or holding on to resources too tightly. We have the Three of Wands moving forward, and we have the Six of Swords in reverse, which is usually about turbulent times that they need to address, because usually the Six of Swords is moving on to calmer waters, right? The waters have changed into calm here, but it's about staying stagnant or staying stuck in turbulent times. Yeah, for some reason, Spirit, their guides are showing me more about their money and their career. We have one more card here, and that's the Ace of Swords in reverse. There's something that needs to be clarified here. There's something that's not clear, or something that has not been communicated to both parties. I'm going to say that very clearly, because when I see the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Swords in reverse, that tells me there's truth that is not being said here. Okay. Let's keep it going here. Spirit guides, what is the most likely outcome of this relationship? What is the most likely outcome of this dynamic, this relationship? Where is it projected to go? What is their trajectory and outcome? What is their outcome? Wow, we have this card coming through, the Knight of Swords. Their most likely outcome is they're going to communicate very quickly. There's going to be information that they share from one to the other, and it's going to involve something that they need to get off their chest. There's a lack of fulfillment here. They're trying to find balance with their give and take and how they give in this relationship, and I feel like they're not doing as great as they should be. There's a need for balance here. When you see the Six of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, that's telling me that they need to move out of emotional unfulfillment or not feeling fulfilled, and it's regarding their money. Their money is affecting this relationship a lot here. The Knight of Swords is here. I feel this card. This is the Fool. Yeah, starting over. Wow. Let's get into this deeper. Let's see. Spirit guides, angels, ancestors, please give me a light attribute. Oh, wow. Let's see what we got here. Please provide me with a light attribute for Asim. Please provide me with a light attribute. Light attributes are usually their positive characteristics that we can look at. What is Asim's, wow, positive attribute? What would be, I feel like there's more. Can I have more, Spirit? Two. Whoa, so many light attributes. Awesome. What is Himanshi or Himanshi's Khurana's light attributes? What are Himanshi's light attributes, Spirit? Okay. What are Himanshi's light attributes? Wow. She has a very big theme with her colors. Throat chakra. She's learning how to speak her truth. All right, we have that coming through. Those are not gonna, I'm not gonna take anything that's turned over. That's not turned over is what I meant to say here. All right, let's start off. Wow. Let's start off with Asim. He has dilettante. This person delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So he's a very talented person. He is very multi-talented. I saw, based off of the basic information I learned online, he is very talented. I did not look into any specifics, but I did see that he was an actor, a model, he was a rapper. He does a number of different things. So I'm not surprised to see a dilettante here, someone who is very creative. We also have teacher, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. He's very skilled, very wise, and is able to explain what he has learned, what he has understood about life. Very knowledgeable individual here. We also have companion. Wow, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. I feel like he has that Leo energy. Very strong-hearted, strong will. He has a strong will about him. At times he may be stubborn or fixed, is what I'm feeling. And finally, we have monk nun, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. He has some spiritual history or past, or some spiritual understanding of the world. And it's what guides him on his path. Interesting, wow. For Himanshi, we have knight, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Chivalry, very chivalrous, the same as Asim as well, because he had loyalty and tenacity. She has loyalty. Beautiful. Let's see what else. Himanshi has engineer, ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. She's a very out of the box thinker. She can think of ways to correct situations, of understanding a thing. She could even have a background in engineering. Maybe family tried to get her into engineering, or she was interested in engineering at one point. But it's also about just having creative energy and able to look at things in a practical way. I wouldn't be surprised if she had some solid earth placements here. We also have liberator, air as well, air sign, or there's something about air and earth here, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So she likes to remain free in mind, body, spirit, in the sense of not letting any outmoded beliefs control her. She likes to release negative thought patterns. Very positive energy, very expansive thought process. We also have athlete, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. She's so resilient. Wow. We have child divine. Innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. She has a connection with her inner child. I want to say that for sure. So she has the energy of having a childlike energy about her and kindness. I feel like she likes to remain free in body, mind, and spirit, focusing on whatever is not true and whatever is not beneficial to believe. She likes to think and think on her feet. She's a free thinker. Wow. What are their karmic archetypes? What are things in the relationship that they want us to notice? What is Himanshi's karmic archetypes? What are Himanshi's karmic archetypes here? Okay. What are Himanshi's karmic archetypes? Okay, let's go on to Asim. What are his karmic archetypes here? Asim's karmic archetypes, spirit guides, angels, ancestors. I feel this card strongly, and I feel like I'll take these. Okay, we're ready to go. So we have Himanshi's karmic archetypes are manipulating others through duplicity, trickster. So with this card, typically it's about saying one thing to one person and saying another to another person. This is something that you would call two-faced energy. So she has to be wary of being two-faced in how she responds. Sometimes it's easy to want to please other people. I feel like she is a liberator, but she may have a tendency of wanting to please people. This could be people in her family or people close to her. And she has to be wary of saying things that are saying one thing to another person and then saying another to her family, or not saying or communicating the exact same information, changing what she says based on the person that she is talking to. There's one thing where, you know, you communicate and you have to change it in order for someone to understand. That's not what this is. It's more like telling a story differently based on the person that's listening and what they would want to hear. So she has to be very careful with trying to please people here within the relationship, and even within the dynamic between her and Asim. She has to be careful with trying to please him or say what he wants her to, she thinks he wants her to say. Victim is playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. She has to be very wary of personal boundaries, of not playing the victim and not feeling like she's always the victim in a relationship. Something about that is coming through. What's interesting is that she has so many blue cards here. Throat chakra. She's learning how to speak her truth and speak it to other people in relationships. I feel like she's learning how to speak to Asim and tell him what she thinks and what she feels. And I feel like he's a companion to her. He has like a very loyal heart. He has a very focused heart on like learning lessons and teaching those lessons to her, sharing his gifts with her. I feel like a sense of him almost being like a teacher to her, and her being a student of learning how to open up to life and open up to the light and the dark. I think she's learning how to not to want to do whatever people tell her to do, but doing what she feels in her heart she should do. We also have storyteller, making up tales that harm others. She has to be wary of how she spins tales or tells people things, because sometimes she speaks, and what ends up happening is when she speaks, she kind of twists things. She has to be very careful with that. That's coming through. She needs to speak her truth unashamedly and unabashedly. She needs to not always think about what people will think of it. For his karmic archetypes, we have Avenger, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Wow, so we're getting violence coming through. What else is here? Don Juan, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Don Juan is a very seductive energy. He has to be very careful with his seductive energy and how he uses it. He has to use it in balance, and he has to also remember that he has devotion and dedication to his spiritual life. So if he has connections to the spiritual realm, he should focus in on treating people and romance in a very enlightened way, not using it to his benefit here. He may do that from time to time. We have Child Eternal, inability to grow up and to be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. Interesting. It's blurry a bit over there. I hope you guys can see that. But we have also Martyr coming through for him. Addiction to self-pity. Both of them tend to pity each other or pity themselves. Both Asim and Himanshi, they have a tendency of kind of looking down on certain situations in their life, and they get in a really dark place in their mental state. Please, if you feel like you pray for these artists, please pray for them and just really like open up to, we're just asking for help and helping them get out of the pitiful, like there's an energy of sometimes difficulty with money. And I feel like money is a really big factor in their lives. It's a factor in so many lives, right? But there's a need for them to not pity or look down on themselves or think less of themselves at times. I feel as though they do that, but together, they do it together, which can be harmful. We also have Destroyer, intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. He needs to not destroy his own dreams and potential. I feel very strongly that sometimes he can be his own worst enemy. Asim, I feel like Asim has to really deal with, like, sometimes he takes his art so seriously that he puts himself down, and he needs to be very careful of that. Both of them, but specifically Asim. Okay, wow. So please help us understand the trajectory of this relationship, Spirit. I'm getting the Magician in reverse. Please help us understand the trajectory. Wow. So we have a number of cards. We have the Ace of Cups, the King of Pentacles coming through, the Three of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Wands coming through, as well as the Five of Wands and the Temperance card. They have some differences that they need to solidify. I'm feeling very strongly that these two people have so much impact and they feel like they have so much that they want to do in their career path. But what's interesting is that at the middle of this relationship was the Seven of Swords. There's some information and insight that they need to share. And I feel like they need to be honest with each other about this relationship. I feel like there's a part of this relationship that isn't intuitive. What I mean by that is that there's some form of control in the relationship that's affecting the dynamic. I feel as though you see how the Emperor, this is the masculine energy, is being presented, but the feminine, the High Priestess, is being turned upside down. There's an energy of the feminine energy, or the energy within us of feminine energy not being expressed in this relationship enough, and it's affecting the relationship. If we look past these three cards, we have the Five of Pentacles, this energy of being left out in the dark. I feel like they need to really open up their hearts to feminine energy, trusting Himanshi more in the sense of letting her shine more. I feel like she needs to shine a lot more energetically. We have the Knight of Wands. There's a sexual energy between these two that's very strong. I feel like they had maybe initially a sexual relationship that started off that way. I feel like they had a very physical relationship at first, and then they became open to the idea of a partnership long term, but there was an attraction that took place that was stronger. It feels almost like it was stronger. What is the advice, Spirit, that you have for this relationship and dynamic here? Because their future is recognizing how they're different. That is what their trajectory is settling the differences. Their trajectory is focusing on getting out of the Five of Wands energy, of looking at how they differ and how their opinions differ, how they differ, and allowing themselves to grow together. They have a lot of fun together with the Three of Cups here. They have a lot of fun, they have a lot of creativity, they have a lot of money together, but there's a need for them to settle some kind of distinct difference between each other. I feel like I need to make sure I move this out of the way so I can see what we just saw, what we had for the reading. The King of Wands, sexuality is unbalanced. I feel almost like Asim is very controlling sexually. I'm going to be honest here. The King of Wands is a masculine energy. What is your advice for Asim in this relationship here? Okay, we have this coming through. Adjustments are required. Is there any other advice for Asim? Whoa. Okay, we have three cards that were like this, but we're only going to take this one here. Communication is key. Yeah, that was what I was saying. Communication is key, Asim. Do you want me to take these, Spirit? Yes. So we have the end of a tough cycle approaches. What do you need to release? Emotions are running high, and have faith in your dreams. They're going through some stressful times right now, and their commitment is being tested. They need to come out of, in order for them to come out of this commitment, or how to come out of this situation, this test, they need to allow themselves to have a work-life balance. I feel like when they're not together, when they're focused on their work, they're fine. But when they come together, there's so many emotions running high here, and I feel like there's something specific about the supermoon that happened on August 30th. There's something here about having faith in their dreams, but also having faith in their ability to be balanced together. They need to release any it's like there's a need for healing in order for them to release some energies that are pent up. They have a lot of pent up aggression that they use when they have when they're getting physical, I should say. And there's a need for them to, instead of just always being physical, talking, communication is key here. You can have so much chemistry in a relationship, but if there is no communication, it affects it so deeply. The end of a tough cycle approaches for one of them. I feel like one of them was going through a tough time with regards to their prospects for work. And even if they are successful on the outside, which they feel to be, there was some energy of them feeling like they didn't have enough money. There's not enough money. And that worry was affecting the relationship. What is Himanshi? What is her advice? Spirit guides, angels, ancestors. Her advice is here. You are good enough. Wow, Himanshi, you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. There's something about her confidence. Like I was saying earlier, there's a need for her to speak, to communicate what she feels on the inside, because she is good enough. What other messages do you have for Himanshi, Spirit? Whoa, step out of your comfort zone. Speaking may not be her, speaking to him, to Asim, may not be comfortable for her, because maybe she hasn't had to communicate as deeply in relationships in the past, but the need is there for communication. They have to talk. I feel very strongly that there are secrets between them, and these secrets are affecting the relationship and will affect the relationship. I'm hearing like roadmap. If they can actually start talking and communicating about these things, it's like a roadmap to success. They need to open up to communicating. I feel this card strongly. It is a new start's coming. There can be a new start in this relationship, but they need to step out of their comfort zone. I also feel this one. Show the world the real you. Yeah, show your... They're saying the same thing. Show the world. Show each other who you are. Himanshi needs to show herself and truly be liberated from her perception. She has like some perception of herself that she shouldn't speak unless spoken to, or something like that. That she should focus on what's easy, which is maybe their sexual chemistry, rather than on the communication that needs to happen about what they want to do going forward. We have hold your vision. She needs to hold her vision. Nothing will come of this situation. And also it's time to take action. So let's see what that's about. What is your advice for this relationship overall, Spirit? What is your advice for this relationship overall? Wow, okay. So we have one card. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. You and your loved ones are safe. Believe in the impossible and bring love into the situation. Anything can happen for this couple. It can happen. They can stay together, but they can't let pride get in their way. There's something about them needing to be honest and to be humble with each other. Okay, what is the situation? Let's see actually what their healing message is. Ooh, wow, that flew out. Teaching. Asim had this card, teaching. There's a need for some lessons to be addressed and communicated in this relationship. What else? Sexual energy, guys. Look at that. That's what we've been talking about, if you guys can see it. Sexual energy is here. Wow. We have omens, stripping illusions, and transformation. They have to look past their sexual chemistry. That is the main subject I'm getting in this, is that if they want their relationship to continue and to be fruitful, they need to stop focusing on sex so much as a means to avoid talking about certain things. We have number 14, teaching. The situation you are inquiring about encourages teaching, whether it be a student, teacher, parent, child, or just friend. We are, all of us, leaning and teaching constantly when we are maintaining a high vibration energetically. Never despair that the seeds you have planted have failed to take root. They may be taking time to germinate, or they may have migrated to another field. Do not plant seeds with the expectation of an outcome. Disengage from the attachment to the outcome of the situation and move on. A farmer doesn't sit down next to the seeds he plants, waiting for them to sprout. What a recipe for disappointment. He plants them and moves on. Never once does he second guess if he was doing the right thing in the right way. He simply does what he is called to do and trusts that the fruit of his labor will be what they are supposed to be. This card also encourages a more formal teaching experience. Look for ways you can enrich each other's lives through your sharing of expertise and knowledge. They may even need to take like a course, and that might sound funny, but taking like a course in talking to each other and communicating with each other, looking up people like therapists, or looking up resources in their area, resources that can help them talk to each other and communicate and to learn together. There's a need for them to allow themselves to address something head on and to move on. It's like there's a need for them to learn the lessons and to talk about what's going on inside. Okay, time to take action. We have that card coming through here. We also have sexual energy. That was number 25. Okay, it says, in the purest sense, sexual energy is not an energy to be expanded from you. It is a state to reside in. The first and second chakras are the roots of our sexual feelings. When you use this very potent energy to manipulate people and situations, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. When you expand your life energy force up from your first two chakras and incorporate the energy from your heart and your crown, you can experience the most complete and divine experience of sexual energy possible. This doesn't even have to include another person. When you can merge your connection, if you guys can see that, to Creator with your connection to the earth without any filters or blocks between the two, you will experience a complete and true connection. We act as the conduit between heaven and earth, and when we can put ourselves into this energy at any given time, we are not tempted to use our sexual energy in a way that feeds our need for validation, nor are we easily manipulated by another's outputting of sexual energy. This card is asking you to look at where sexual energy is directed in your life. And I'm not going to try to belabor the message, because I know that many of you, of course, would know chakras. I feel like chakras are something I'm learning, and I have the humility to understand that there's so much to learn. But I know that with the sacral chakra, this is being presented here. Something about the sacral chakra being overactive or not being balanced with the rest of the body is coming through, and they're healing that. There's a need to always address the sexual, sacral creativity. The energy that comes from the sacral chakra is very significant in this reading. I feel like once they begin to address the balance between all chakras, I feel like they'll become more, it's like more communicative. They'll spend more time opening up their throat chakra as well, because I feel like Himanshi needs to open up her throat chakra more often and communicate. Communication will help this relationship continue on their path. I feel like it's I'm hearing predestined. It's predestined for them to address this in order to heal. Is there any other messages that you have, Spirit? Anything else? Anything else at all to close? Wow, okay, we have you are highly thought of. Yes, they're highly thought of here. And we have good fortune. So that is what I have for you all today. Thank you so much for tuning into my long message. It's a bit longer than the norm, or at least now it's more normal for me to be this long with my messages. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated for what you know of Asim and of Himanshi. And I hope that it also brings clarity to their situation. May it be for their highest good, and that they do decide to be wherever they're meant to be, whether it is together, whether it is apart at some point. Whatever is for their highest good is what I want for them in this reading. So I hope that you resonated as well with my energy. If you did, check out my description box below for how you can either support me on my path, or how you can also book a reading, a personal reading with me. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.